Hello everyone, so I'm here today to do my predictions for the Booker winner, which is going to be announced on the 17th of October. I haven't made a lot of Booker content in the last few weeks here because I have already read all the books that I wanted to read from the long list, so I didn't have much more to add, but I thought it will still be fun to make a bit of a prediction. So, the 6 books that are in the shortlist for the Booker this year are Glory by Violet Bulawayo, Small Things Like This by Claire Keegan, Trickle Walker by Alan Garner, The Trees by Percival Everett, The 7 Moons of MAALI Almeida by Shahan Karunatilaka, and O. William by Elizabeth Srout. From those, I have read everything except from O. William. And that's simply because I have read Lucy Barton, which is My Name is Lucy Barton, which is the first one in the series, Quartet now, and O. William is the third one. And I just didn't like My Name is Lucy Barton. I have also read the 2 Oliver Kitteridge books from Elizabeth Strout, and I have also not liked them. I find them very mundane and very boring, and I'm not interested in those small village politics. I didn't find them particularly funny or engaging or anything, so I don't see why I would want to read that. So I didn't. So take what I say about this book with a grain of salt. But personally, I don't think it's gonna be the winner of this year's Booker Prize, simply because I think, from what other people have said and from the other books I've read from Elizabeth Strout, this is just quite vanilla in terms of the other books, and the themes are somewhat meaningful, but it's not all that shocking. The writing style is very direct, the story is very simple and direct in many ways, so even though nothing is wrong with it, it's just nothing is amazing or nothing is particularly shocking for me. So I don't think O. William is gonna win. I think most people will agree with that. Maybe they will still surprise us, but I think it's a safe thing to say. Now, I know that other people might have other opinions about this, but I think that I would put Small Things Like This in similar category. I think it was fine, but I don't think it was particularly shocking in any way. I think maybe the writing was better and the story was a little bit more meatiful. It had more meat on what it was trying to say, and the whole story about the Magdalena laundries and all that. But still, I don't think it was particularly doing anything shocking. So I would also say that Small Things Like This would not win. Also, Small Things Like This has won the Orwell Prize, so it will be quite a feat for that small book to win two prizes this year. I'm not saying it might not happen. I think it has a higher chance than O. William, but I just think that there are better books in the list. On that note, I think that Glory by Violet Bulawayo also is not going to win. I think that the idea of this book was interesting, and I see why it made the shortlist. I think it's new and fresh, and if it works for you, it works for you. And I think also the topics that it's dealing with are very important, and they need to be highlighted. And I also think that it's one of the few more diverse books that were in the long list, so that probably also helped. But I think that if you just look at the book as a book, the way that the animals were realized and the way they were used and all the Twitter handles and Twitter feeds and all of that, it was very jarring, and I don't think the concept completely worked. So I would be surprised if Glory won. I partly enjoy it. I think a lot of people have enjoyed it, and I don't think it's a bad book. I think it's a book that can be read and I would recommend to some people, but I just think that to win the Booker, and compared to the other books that are in the list, this one is not cutting that edge that will make it win. So I think Glory is also not going to win. which leaves me with Trickle Walker, The Trees, and Seven Moons of MAALI Almeida. I think all of three books have high chances to win. I think Trickle Walker will be the more polarizing one from all of the ones I've said, just because it's a tiny book and nobody seems to know what's really going on in it. It's very grounded on its own folklore from this very specific part of the UK, so it's very difficult to grasp all of that, and it's written in a kind of a fable, nonsensical way. I will compare it to Alice in Wonderland, but I think that there is something to it, and not all the readers might be able to extract that enjoyment, because it's not an easy book to read, but I think that enjoyment exists there, and I think the way that Alan Garner is able to present that in such a crazy, new, weird way does say something for itself. So I do think there are reasons why they might make this the winner, also because Alan Garner is the oldest person to have been nominated, and is also a well-known person, and they might want to recognize not only this book, but having this book as a token for the whole of his career. So yeah, it might happen. Also, I think the announcement is on his birthday, so it will be quite a birthday present. But yeah, all of that aside, I do think that this one has more chances to win, and I can see why the judges might choose it. The other one I can see why it might be chosen is The Trees by Percival Everett. I personally did not particularly enjoy this book. I didn't gel with the writing style or the humor of the book. It had a punchline every few sentences, and it just didn't gel with me. And I didn't think particularly that the characters or the plot twists were very surprising or very developed in a way that made the book special for me. But I do know that a lot of people found all of these things very appealing. So I could see why it would be chosen to win. I personally would prefer it not to, just because I don't think that the topics that it explored were that new, or what the book had to say about that was new. It was presented in a slightly different way and a slightly more engaging way, maybe. But I didn't think it was particularly special in any way. And I didn't gel with the humor of the book, which is a big part of the book. So for me, this book did not work, but I can see why it has worked for people, and I can see why the judges might choose it as the winner. Also because there are several books in this shortlist, but also on the long list, that were kind of with mystery elements and with humor elements and all of that. This seems to be a big trend in this list to have those elements. So I will understand if the judges decide to go for a book that has those elements, because it's what appeals to them. With that said, I think my favorite to win, and I think the one that should win and probably will win, I hope, is The Seven Moons of MAALI Almeida. I think that this book has so many layers. I did not get all the enjoyment that I could from the first read, just because it's so dense and so layered. But I think that even on a first read, you can appreciate that the book is quite a work. It has so many things going for it. It has all the topics about Sri Lanka and the political unrest and all of that. It has the cultural elements, the religious elements of it. It has the mystery elements of it. It has the character development. We see a lot of phases of MAALI Almeida, how he is a flawed character but still lovable, but he wants to do good, but also he does things that are not good, and there are things that he does that are not bad, but they are seen as bad for society. It does have a lot, and there is a lot to unpack in the book, and the writing is also very interesting. So I think that all of those things make this book be on another level from the other books in the list, and that's why I think it should win. And I think that's, I mean, when we saw the shortlist and the colony was not there, my first reaction was like that it has to be the Seven Moons of MAALI Almeida, because there are no other book in the list that has that complexity and that goes that extra mile. So for me, my winner is the Seven Moons of MAALI Almeida. I don't know if that will be also the judges' choice. We will find out in a couple of weeks. I hope it is. I think it does deserve it. But yeah, I could see how other books will win over that. I will honestly be disappointed if, for example, O. William wins over the Seven Moons of MAALI Almeida, or if Small Things Like This wins over MAALI Almeida. But we will see. Booker is known for disappointing people, so maybe it will happen. But yeah, those are my thoughts on the Booker winner prediction. Let me know if you have any thoughts. I will link down below the links to all the reviews to the books I have read. And until next video, bye!